All right, welcome to week 4. We are at the midway point. This week is our midterm examination. So again, I really hope you guys are working on getting caught up and getting yourselves in a position to do well on that. It's a 100-point, assignment. So let's make sure we're on top of it. Uh, this week we're dealing with two chapters, chapters 5 and 6 in the Oklahoma 12th edition. These are, I think, chapters that pair well together. Public opinion is basically, how do we know what the public thinks about an issue? How do we know that, a certain percentage of Americans support the death penalty or oppose abortion or, support a Democratic or a Republican candidate for office? Um, this chapter deals a lot with sort of the challenges of accurately measuring public opinion. And of course, the obstacles to effective measurement are increasing over time. More and more, Americans, they own one of these, which make it harder for public opinion surveys, for pollsters to really get accurate information because Americans don't have to answer the phone and the way they may have in the past, and to the extent that they're relying on home phone numbers, fewer and fewer people have home phones, so that makes it harder on pollsters to actually get an accurate sample. And of course, sample size, how you ask questions, when you ask questions. These are all important dynamics that can skew a poll and make it inaccurate. Chapter 6 deals with the media and the role that the media plays in the governing process. A lot of people have argued that the media is effectively the fourth branch of government, because again, this is a very huge, very lucrative industry. When I teach my class in media and politics, I tell students, that the media is in effect a political institution, much like political parties, much like interest groups. They are in effect what I call intermediary institutions. They help citizens make sense of the world. And again, the challenge these days is that a lot of Americans don't trust the media. And I don't think that we automatically ought to trust an industry that is as wealthy and powerful and influential as it is. So, we have to be careful in terms of how we consume news and make sure that the news that we're gathering as citizens are coming from reputable sources where people are actually practicing solid journalistic practices, which is to say you're confirming your stories and you're correcting where you make mistakes. There are a lot of instances, for example, related to the pandemic where, initially a lot of the experts were basically saying there was no way that the COVID-19 could have occurred in a lab. And now, of course, they're saying, well, it's conceivable. And so, the media can be led astray by their sources. This chapter deals a lot with the relationship between the media and political institutions, between journalists and politicians. And it's a very fraught relationship, simply because both sides have something they need, but they don't have the same incentives, right? Politicians have what journalists need. They have information. But journalists also have that platform that enable politicians to get the story. At the same time, journalists don't, they have a strong journalistic incentive not to be viewed as a flack, as someone that is simply, carrying water for politicians or for a particular political cause. And so, it's a very tough relationship to negotiate as journalists and as politicians. And it's important always to keep in mind that it's human beings that are practicing politics. So we have 3 things going on this week. We have the forum, as always. We have the quiz, and then you've got your midterm examination. So make sure you're reviewing your study guides over the course of the week. Don't feel like you have to take the examination, on Monday or Tuesday, but also don't leave it until 9 o'clock on Sunday night. Let's make sure that we're leaving ourselves plenty of time, but that we're also preparing really thoroughly for this exam. So again, midway point, we're halfway there. Let's stay on top of things and have a great week.